Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Fairy Coach Tarot channel. My name is Raquel. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here and following this channel and these videos. I really appreciate you. Now, today is a Sunday, and Sundays we have another interactive tarot where we look at the energy forecast for our week. We get some guidance towards how to use the momentum and the energies for what's best for us, right? So we get that guidance from Spirit. All right, so we have the pink fairy, the blue fairy, and the yellow fairy today. These are the back of the cards so you can see them when you choose them. And whenever you're ready, let's get started. We begin by grounding, centering, and connecting with the breath. All right, roll those shoulders back if you can. Gently move your neck from side to side. And let's take a deep inhale together, in through the nose. Hold. Gently let go of the air, releasing tension, stress. All right, remember this is your moment in this sacred space in our video. Now, think of, or without thinking, better said, intuitively, look at the three decks that we have. They are different sizes. Look at the backs, look at the three fairies, and choose the deck or the fairy that calls you. Ready? All right, let's get started with the pink one. All right. Let's see, for those of you who picked the pink fairy today, let's move a little bit the cards. I have already prepared them before the video started when we set up, but let's still move them a little bit, reminding them that it's time to work. Let's tell them what it is that we want to know. We would like guidance for our week. And let me just make it is, what day is Sunday? All right. So this week will go from Monday, May 18th to the 24th, right? And this week, we have coming up the first quarter moon on the weekend. All right. So just to make sure that I set the right dates. All right. So, and the first quarter moon is, as I said, coming on in the weekend on Saturday. So, right now we are still on that new moon energy as it goes into that first quarter moon. All right. So, that's something to keep in mind as well. Okay. Let's set the intention. We would like guidance for our week, for the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week. And we ask in love, in light, for our greatest good. And so it is. All right. Okay. So more than one card wanted to come out. Exactly two for the beginning of the week. We're going to put them here. And let's continue to the middle of the week. All right. Middle of the week and the end of the week. Oh, they don't seem to want to come out. End of the week. What is the message for the end of the week? It's taking its time. There, and more than one. Good. I was already wondering why isn't the message coming out? And is it there another card here? Yeah, actually, there is another card. Look at this. Yes, they stuck together, but I thought, all right, so three wanted to come out. All right, we honor all the cards that want to come out and give us a message. So, who answers our call for the beginning of the week? The Sun and the Six of Wands. All right, the Sun, we have a major arcana. Remember that we're still under that new moon energy, right? So we went from the dark moon and now the new moon energy where everything is just increasing is going until the weekend. And the weekend we have the first quarter moon. So the energy even increases more. All right, the Sun, such a beautiful positive card to begin our week, right? And the Sun is just saying it is a great momentum for you, right? The energy is positive. It's the shine, and the Sun is shining on you. So it is, besides that the Sun is shining on you, we have that new moon energy that still is coming with us, that energy of the moon that's increasing as the moon gets bigger and bigger towards the full moon. So, what does that all say? That anything that you set your intention to right now is going to be rapidly growing, right? Remember, intention sets things in motion when it comes to our energy, when it comes to manifesting. Intention is extremely powerful. And here you have two of the most powerful components as well, that it is the sun shining on you and the moon, the moon's energy that is after that new moon that's starting to raise. All right. So, what is the advice of this card? First of all, to remember that whatever you're setting your intention, whatever you are focusing on is going to grow. And therefore, the sun reminds you stay positive at this time. Stay positive at this time. Stay focused on what it is that you want, because you are going to be making things happen really fast, right? And what is the Six of Wands adding to this? Remember, the Six of Wands is the second card, so it is kind of supportive of the first one. All right. And the Six of Wands is a card that denotes success in many ways, right? It's usually that person walking or on top of the horse, that looks successful, right? And the Six of Wands is saying exactly that you are going to be successful with whatever you set your intention to. And so the questions, the reflection I want you to make right now is, first of all, what is your heart's desire? What is, knowing that you have all that power, in a way to say, in you, what is your heart's desire right now? What is something that you really want to manifest, to make happen? So ask yourself that. And when I ask you these reflective questions, try to, even if you want to pause the video for a second and just be fully there answering, because that self-awareness will help you along the way. So what is your heart's desire? What is that you want to manifest, right? Then, how can you stay focused and positive even if an outside circumstance or somebody shakes it? Right? So, knowing that this energy is around, maintaining focus and maintaining that intention is important. Now, there are outside circumstances always, like you may come across somebody who's having a bad day. Somebody may say something bad to you. You may hear something on the news, whatever that lowers your vibration and sets you off track. So the question is, how can you maintain focus and positivity, or more than positivity, groundedness, so you allow these things that you want to manifest and you want to bring to life, your heart's desire, happen, right? And then the question of the 601 would be, what would show you that you are successful at this thing that is your heart's desire, right? Would it be to be in a relationship with a specific person? Would it be to get that promotion? Would it be to get a specific job? Would it be to have certain amount of money? What would it be? What would make you feel successful in this thing that's your heart's desire, right? How do you identify success, right? So, knowing what it is that you want, how to maintain a high vibration, right? And not to allow outside circumstances to shake you, and what it means for you to be successful. So, by defining all of this, you are actually creating a very set goal, right? The goal that you want, how to measure it. So, this is very important for this energy that you have. It is a fantastic beginning of the week that this is telling us, right? With that sun and the Six of Wands. Now, let's look at the middle of the week. All right. And I wanted to make sure there wasn't another card because these cards tend to be thicker. So sometimes I wonder, is there another card here attached? But no. So the middle of the week, who answers our call is the spirit of the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords, that energy of the two, the choices, right? And getting clarity. This is a card that is asking us to find clarity to make the right choices for us, right? And it's telling us that clarity in this time, so around the middle of the week, that would be around Wednesday and Thursday, it's about finding that clarity with your intellect. So, this is not about emotions or even using your intuition that much, right? So, it's more about discernment and thinking things through, making sure you observe what's going on around you, right? So, in the middle of the week, if you find yourself having to make a choice, having to make a decision, or even if something has you confused or you feel that you don't know what to do next, this is asking you, all right, time to really use discernment here, to not only go for the gut instinct or what somebody tells you, just find stillness and think things through, right? With having observed and think things through. Think also about how to say anything that needs to be said, any conversation that you have. Pause, right? And make sure that you're thinking your words through before they leave your mouth. All right. So, the middle of the week, a lot of deep thinking, using discernment, and not going with the gut instinct alone. That would it be. All right. So, reflective question for you here. What helps you when you need to use discernment, when you need to make a clear choice? What it is that helps you, right? What has helped you in the past? For me, sometimes it's writing things down, right? That moment of stillness that I was telling you, right? Grounding, staying still, and even writing things down, making lists, and observation. This would be the advice. Now, let's look at the end of the week, and that's already going towards that, or being right in that first quarter moon. Who answers our call? The High Priestess, another major arcana, the Magician, and the Tower. Wow, 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 wow. Look at this. Wow. Three major arcana cards for your weekend. And you start the week with the Sun. What a reading you're having. Okay, so let's begin. So these are the two supportive cards, but the main message here comes from the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is moving everything around for us because we go from the middle of the week of like having to use discernment, not going through with a gut instinct alone, being very practical and logical, I would say. And then for the weekend, the High Priestess says it's all about connecting with that intuition. Not only that, is all about connecting with yourself in many ways, right? So a lot of self-care, time alone. The High Priestess is not the most extroverted card here, and she likes her time alone. So, one thing that she recommends is that you spend time um, on your own this weekend, even if it's pockets here and there, just to reconnect with yourself, to reconnect with your intuition. As I mentioned before, self awareness is very powerful. So that's what she mostly is advising. And the magician comes and says, yes, by reconnecting with yourself, by spending time alone, is that you are going to be more how to say it, you're going to be more resourceful, right? So perhaps this week has been a week that has had a lot of movement, a lot of energy with that sun that's shining on you at the beginning of the week. So finding pockets of time alone, recharging, connecting with yourself after having been very logical in the middle of the week. And that's going to create for you to be more resourceful for things that are important in your life right now. So it is important that you feel resourceful for decisions or things that need to be made, right? And that's you will do by connecting with yourself. And what is the tower adding to this? The tower is saying this: there will be, or there may be some difficult decisions, there may be some difficult things that you need to hear. And by staying grounded, by having connected with yourself, by having reset your energy, by connecting with your intuition and seeing that the magician is saying you can handle whatever is coming. You have the resources to handle whatever is coming. The tower is saying there may be something that will feel to you like you are being shaken, right? Like the ground where you stand is being shaken. However, the magician reminds you nothing to worry because you've connected with yourself and you know that you can handle it. So the tower in this sense is not the primary card, it is a supportive card, right? So it's just advising that in order not to be taken off balance, right, by others, by circumstances outside of you, or by choices or decisions that need to be made, it is important for you to connect with yourself and spend some time alone to do that, right? Spend some time in calm, in quiet, in prayer, meditation, contemplation, any of those things that help you connect with yourself, connect spiritually, right, with your spirituality and with your intuition. And then gather those resources. If I got these cards for me, this is what I would do, right? One is finding those moments of quietness. And then what I would do is go into meditation, right? And doing a visualization meditation in which I see what are the resources I have, right? Some answers come in meditation, some so beautifully, and more when you do a visualization meditation. What are my resources if things get shaken, if things seem to throw me off balance? And you will discover that coming to your center, doing this meditation, all these resources that are around you come, right? You will remember people that can be helpful. You'll remember either things, books, or something that you have that could help you at this time. So these would be the advice of these cards. Now, let's put it all together. Very powerful reading. You start with the sun and that energy of the moon that's increasing. So, beginning your week with focus and intention, right? And that's going to create a lot of success for you. The middle of the week, use discernment, right? It is about being more practical and logical. Do not rely on gut instincts. And the weekend, very powerful this weekend coming in for you. Very strong energies around that first quarter moon. But the advice of the cards is spend time in solitude a little bit, even if it's pockets of times that you can connect with yourself, connect with your intuition, even go and meditate on a meditation in the sense of trying to find and gather the resources around you. So when things come that seem to shake you energetically or decisions need to be made, you remember that you have everything that you need to handle it. All right. I hope you liked your reading. Give a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video. And if you want a private session with me, please do not hesitate to contact me, send me a message, or go to my website or my Gumroad storefront to purchase your pre-recorded reading or make an appointment for your live session. All right. Now, let's look at the blue fairy for those of you who picked this one for your weekly messages. All right, here we go with the blue fairy. Let's move the cards a little bit and wake them up. And let's set the intention. We would like messages and guidance for our week, the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week in love and light for our highest good. All right. So we got 3 cards to begin with. Look at that. Actually 4. So let's put them like this. We got a long message here for the beginning of the week. I always try to honor all the cards that want to come out. And the idea is to do 3 cards, but if more want to come out, we're going to read them. All right? Because the cards are talking. We're going to read them. All right, the middle of the week. All right, let's settle. Ooh, and 1 flew. I'm telling you, this deck is talking to you today. It's very talkative. All right, now the end of the week. All right, 1 card. So it's very talkative. They either jump out or they come with a lot of messages. All right, let's begin. All right, so we got the Knight of Cups, the Star as our second, so Major Arcana, and here we have the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, sorry, the King of Pentacles. All right, let's begin. These are supportive cards that complement the message that the Spirit of the Knight of Cups is bringing us. The Knight of Cups, water element, right? Cups, Knight, movement, action, moving forward, right? So, what is this Knight advising you? That you begin the week with action. The nights are always about action, right? But the actions that you need to take this beginning of this week, they have to come from the heart. So in the sense of the water element is emotions, but it's also intuition. So get in touch with your emotions, right? And feel intuitively what steps you need to take right now. But it's all about not being passive, but doing things, right? So What has been on your mind lately? What's heavy on your heart? What are those actions that you know you need to take? So connect with that heart chakra, right? And intuitively feel what what do you need to do. Perhaps it is call somebody. Perhaps there is something in your mind and in your heart that intuitively tells you, I need to call this person, maybe to reconnect, maybe to explain something, maybe to apologize, maybe to just say, how are you doing? Could be that. Or it could be something that you need to do to for things to be better at work, right? Maybe you've been thinking, perhaps I should start this project. Perhaps I should lend a hand here. Perhaps I should ask for help. Whatever things like this intuitively that are nudging at you, that are poking there, that are wanting you to pay attention to. The night says, pay attention to those those intuitive thoughts that you're having and the emotions they bring, and take steps forward. So take action, right? And the star, the beautiful star, that major arcana card, that is absolutely beautiful. The star is saying, yes, there is a reason why you keep thinking about certain things. There is a reason why there are thoughts and feelings that are so prevalent right now, and it is that you're being guided. So remember, any thoughts, feelings, things that just intuitively you know you have to do something about it. There is a reason for that. So pay attention. And the Ace of Wands says, right, you're taking these steps forward, connecting with that intuition, saying, hey, I need to do something here. And the Ace of Wands says, yes, by taking action, by listening intuitively to what it is that you're being guided to do, there is something new that could open for you. There is something that will bring an opportunity that's very interesting, right? So taking action, things that are intuitively guided, will open up a new opportunity, right? And the King of Pentacles, right, closes the message by saying, it is important to understand what your, I don't want to say goal, but what creates a stability for you right now, right? So, okay, let's read them all together. The energies are saying you need to move, to take action, right? And you will know what actions to take because it is going to be as if you were guided. There are things in your mind, in your heart that you keep thinking about that it's like little nudges, right? By taking action, you're opening up new opportunities and you're changing the path in a very positive way. Now, take this new opportunity and remember it's all about creating stability in everything that's important in your life, right? So like this, you know what steps to take. Follow that intuition, opens a new opportunity. Make sure that it is everything that you're doing is creating that stability. All right, so this is the beginning of the week. It's from what I'm seeing between the major arcana and all these cards, is that it is an important moment. The beginning of the week is the very important moment for you. So remember, connect with the heart chakra, with and these things that you cannot stop thinking about. They're trying to tell you something. Now, the middle of the week, who answers? The Queen of Cups. We change into a more feminine energy here. Again, we are being led by Cups. Remember, here we're starting with the Knight of Cups. Cups, emotions, intuition. What is the Queen of Cups telling us? Again, you are having a very intuitive week. There is intuitive, emotional, and spiritual week, I would say. And the queen is saying, all right, right now, first, keep being guided by your intuition. But second, nurture, right? Nurture relationships at this time. Nurture or create, more than nurture would be create a rapport with people in the middle of the week, right? It is not to disconnect from others. So this Queen of Cup is saying, who is around you, or what relationships, or what people do you come in contact with, that it would be important to create a stronger rapport, right? Or to nurture those relationships. The middle of the week is all about relationships with others, as well as to keep listening to your intuition, right? So I would add that because it is cups that are leaving your week, to make sure to do a lot of practices that call for emotional regulation, just to make sure that when we have all this increased intuition, or we are overly emotional, there is a lot of water element in our cards, that we do practices and techniques for emotional regulation, right? Those could be grounding through the breath, earthing, taking nature walks, meditation, prayer, journaling, anything that helps us stay more grounded. Now, let's look at the end of the week and who is answering our call. And here we have the Seven of Wands, right? The energy is already changing. And what's the Seven of Wands advice for our weekend, Friday to Sunday? The Seven of Wands is saying, choose your battles. Careful who you engage with. Remember, your energy is sacred, right? So here is telling you to nurture certain relationships, to create a good rapport. But the Seven of Wands towards the weekend says, and you know what? Your energy is very sacred. So choose your battles. If something is not worth it, do not engage with it. You do not have to accept every invitation to an argument, right? You do not have to play into emotional arguments or discussions that will drain you. So fire energy, the ones, the number 7 is saying protect your energy this weekend. All right, very important. All right, quick recap. You begin the week and in the middle of the week with a lot of intuitive, heightened intuition, very emotional, right? You have to start by taking those steps guided intuitively. That will open a new opportunity. Make sure there is a stability around it. Middle of the week, nurture relationships, keep listening to your intuition, and create rapport with others. Do not isolate. End of the week, we have the Seven of Wands. Protect your energy. Very important to protect your energy, right? And not to get into arguments or discussions or fights that will drain you. All right, I hope you liked your reading. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, or share this message. It helps other people that may benefit from it. It helps my channel grow. So thank you again. And if you want us to look at your particular situation, this is a general collective reading. Your particular situation, reach out, make an appointment for a private tarot session with me, or get a pre-recorded reading. If you want more information, send me a message, get in touch. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Now, let's look at the yellow fairy for those of you who picked that one. And here we have our yellow fairy. Let's put the yellow fairy here. And let's move them around. Shake them a little bit. And let's set the intention. We would like advice, guidance, and insights to our week, the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week, in love and light for our highest good. All right, let's see the beginning of the week. All right. the middle of the week. Oops, and one jumped out. And now the end of the week. And last one. All right, not as many as with the last deck. Let's put this out of the way. All right, let's see who answers the call. And we have the Two of Swords. Oh, no, sorry, no major arcana, no knocking. And the Six of Swords. All right, a lot of swords. We have air element, the energy of the two supported by the six. So what does the spirit of the Two of Swords tells us? So we just talked about the Two of Swords in the other deck. Air element, a lot of is requesting mental clarity, finding clarity in things. So the Two of Swords is clarity not only of thought but also in communication, or making sure that we pause besides before saying certain things, right? To make sure we are actually not we are actually choosing the right choices with our words. So the Two of Swords is telling you at the beginning of this week, do not be too eager to talk before thinking. So think first, pause, make sure you are choosing your words wisely, right? And is also giving you a protective message, I would say, of not to rush into any decisions or choices, all right? So choose your words carefully, pause before speaking, and do not make any choices or decisions too fast, to really, really take it slow and pause, right? And the Six of Swords adds to this, saying there may be, it may be important for you to take some time, some long time, to think about certain things before making a decision or making a choice that could be impactful, right? So, at the beginning of the week, ask yourself, what choices or decisions do I need to make that I do not feel prepared to make right now, right? If you're having certain conversations, how can I pause before engaging to make sure that I honor my truth, but that I make the right choices, right? And what conversations or what thoughts do not serve me that I need to move away from? Or how can I take or buy myself more time to make sure I make the correct choices? All right. So, beginning of the week, that's asking for clarity, to pause, and to watch our words. And the middle of the week. And we continue with the swords. Interesting. And this time we have the Eight of Swords, right? And the Eight of Swords is telling you there may be a lot of mental chatter. There could also be, or we may feel that we have a lot going on, right? So it's easy to become overwhelmed in the middle of the week, right? So the Eight of Swords is if you feel at any moment in the middle of the week that things are becoming too overwhelming, check your thoughts, right? Check what thoughts you're entertaining, check what intrusive thoughts are coming in that are throwing you off balance, and pause again and do some reframing exercises, right? As like, is this thought useful? Is this thought true? You know, Remember, a lot of our overwhelm or stress is created by our thoughts alone and the thoughts we have about certain situations. That does not mean that a situation may not be challenging, or a person may not be challenging, or a job may not be stressful. Yes, that could all be, but we sometimes make things worse by entertaining certain thoughts. So the Eight of Swords here in the middle of the week is telling you, check in with yourself, check in to see if you are becoming overwhelmed, if you are getting too stressed, right? And then if that's happening, ask yourself, what thoughts am I entertaining? What practices can I do that have helped me in the past to just pause, feel less stressed, and do not believe everything you think. Really. All right, now let's look at the end of the week. And who answers our call? The King of Cups. This generous king, he is such a loving king. One of the questions this king always asks is, what does emotional maturity look like? Right? So, the advice this king would give us for our weekend is to make sure that all our decisions, our choices, and our messages when we talk, so action, thought, and word, are aligned with emotional maturity right now, right? So to be in charge of our own emotions, to rule them and manage them like this King of Cups. So make sure as you enter the weekend, as you are also in that first quarter energy of the moon, that is already beginning to be intense. We're walking towards that full moon. So, to make sure your emotions are in check, right? A lot of emotional regulation as well here. But ask yourself one question to ask yourself throughout the weekend: what does emotional maturity mean at this moment? How can an emotional mature, or how in my more emotionally mature self can respond to this. So, one thing is, look at this king and adopt his energy throughout the weekend. All right. So that's what this king brings. So let's just do a quick recap of your reading. You have a lot of swords here. So a lot of mental chatter, a lot of maybe challenging conversations. So at the beginning of the week, it is asking, pause before engaging in certain conversations. Do not make decisions or choices yet. Pause. Take your time to think about things. Choose the battles you engage in, or not the battles, but choose the conversations you engage in, and take your time really to make decisions. The middle of the week is all about looking if you're getting, or feeling if you're getting overwhelmed, right? Overwhelmed, stressed, or something feels off. Check your thoughts, right? Challenge your thoughts. Make sure that you do not entertain any thoughts that are negative and intrusive at this time. That's what's going to help you. And at the end of the week, the weekend is asking for emotional maturity to handle your everyday things, relationships with emotional maturity, and to be in charge of your emotions. So think of this king, adopt his attitude towards the weekend. All right, I hope you liked your reading. Give a thumbs up, subscribe, share the message, and comment below what deck did you choose, or even if you chose more than one. If you said, oh, I chose the pink fairy and the blue fairy, or the yellow fairy, like choosing more than one. There may be, because this is a general reading, take what resonates, and maybe there is something that resonates in each deck. That's why, even though it's an interactive tarot, sometimes I advise for you to watch the entire video, because there may be a message that resonates for you, that it's not necessarily in the deck that you picked. All right. And if you really want us to look more in depth at your situation, send me a message, get in touch. I love answering questions about my work and my services. Or you can make an appointment for a private session. We have a quick check-in of 15 minutes, the sweet spot of 30 minutes, or the in-depth session at 1 hour. Or we also have pre-recorded readings that you can get through my Gumroad storefront. All right. By subscribing, by making sure you get those notifications, you will get like all the videos that I post during the week. Remember, on Sundays, we have the weekly tarot. Mondays, we look at work and career. Tuesdays, we look at love and relationships. Wednesdays, we look at oracle card messages. We're not using the tarot that day. Thursdays, we look at our 7 main chakras. And Fridays, we get our weekend messages. If you would be interested in me doing a live tarot on Saturdays, please comment below and let me know. I'm thinking about doing some live tarot where I pull a card for you if you send super chats and all of those. So if you're interested in that, just let me know. All right. Or if there is anything that you would like us to look at, or any type of reading that I'm not doing that you would like a video on, or if you have any questions. Sometimes I know some of you would like Q&As. So if you would like Q&A, and send me questions so I can answer on our videos, I can also do that. So anyway, you have a wonderful week ahead, a blessed week ahead. And remember, you are powerful with your intentions, with your emotions, and remember that power. All right, brightest blessings. Bye bye.